make a man feel inferior. You do not have to compel him to accept an inferior status. He will seek it himself. If you make a man think he is justly an outcast, you do not have to order him to the back door.
Yes.
He will go without being told. And if there is no back door, his very nature will begin with.
Good job, young man. Give me a hand, man. Listen, man, this is an old quote. I'm telling you, this quote saved my life. That's right. Because I read this right here, and I started looking at myself as a man. Because this describes where we are. If you can control a man's thinking, you have to concern yourself about his action. As a man thinketh, so is he. When you determine what a man should think, you have to concern yourself about what he will do. That's where you are today. Let's skip up a little bit. If you make a man think he's justly an outcast, you don't have to order him to the back door. How many of you run to the back of the bus when you get on the bus? See what I mean? Do you understand, young man, back in the 1940s and 50s, you couldn't even hardly get on the bus? Let alone you had to sit in the back. But if somebody got on the bus, some little white lady wanted to get on there and sit down, guess what? You had to get up. And sometimes you would have to get off in the rain. Bless you. You would have to get off the bus. You understand that? And now we can sit at the front of the bus, but we go to the back because it's cool, right? No, it's not cool. If you make a man think he is justly an outcast, you don't have to order him to the back door because he will go without being told. If there's no back door, his very nature will demand one. That's where we are. Our very nature demands the back door. And we have to reverse that thing. And see, that's why I was running doing 90 miles an hour. I should have been speeding, but I was trying to go vote. You know why I was trying to go vote? Because my grandmother, when she was a little girl, she told me some of her friends got killed on the way to the polls. So me as a 41-year-old man, and I buried my grandmother 2 years ago, me as a 41-year-old man, I had a responsibility, if not for me, for my grandmother, for all them folks that died so we can vote, all those folks that got water holes on their way trying to learn how to read. We have a responsibility as young men to stand up and be responsible. We have a responsibility to go to those polls and vote. And it sickens me when people that look like me don't vote. Because you don't know what we went through to get there. Go ahead, young man.
My dad told me that sometimes you got to give up like get some stuff. Like my dad, like my grandfather told me a story once. Like he had to give up his car.
Yep.
So it could help his mom pay the bills. So he sold his car for some money to help his mom pay some bills.
That's what men do. You got to be responsible. Thanks for sharing that, man. 3 ways you learn, and we almost done. We're done in 3 minutes. 3 ways you learn. You learn through role models, life, and the school system. See, these are your role models. Role models need to be somebody you can touch, somebody you can reach out to, somebody you can call. I'm going to give you my information in a minute. There's nothing wrong with looking up to some of these folks, but don't do this, man. Stop getting tattoos all over your face. When you go in there and get a job, you can be clean as you want to be. You can have your suit on, you ready to roll, but then you walk in there with a tattoo on your face. What do you think they're looking at?
Tattoo?
They're looking at your tattoo on your face. Just remember, this stuff is permanent.
It's going to be hard for you to do the job, like, because they want you to look your best.
Yeah, you gotta look the part. Go ahead, man.
Alright, how come you say drug dealers up there for role models?
Because some people look up to drug dealers as their role models. I used to. When I was 14, I thought the guys who had the money and had the cars and the women were the men. That's what I thought.
Well, I would look up to the drug dealers as my what do they call it again?
Role models.
Yeah, I'll look up to a drug dealer to my role models. So when I look up to them, I'll do the opposite. Like I'm gonna do what they doing, but the opposite way, like in a good way.
Okay, good. Well, we need more young men thinking like you, so we need you up here speaking. All right? How many of you on Facebook? So you got to stop doing this. Some of you doing too much Facebook. See, this technology is taking over, man, and many of us are letting this technology blow our minds. You got to start reading with your eyes and not just reading on the computer. You got to pick up a book. Now, some of you have this tag right here. I'm going to be signing books for you today. But I don't want you to just take this book. I want you to read it. It's called No More Excuses, Black Men Stand Up. You want that blueprint to manhood, I'm going to give it to you. Okay? Young men, write this down. Really quick, because we got to get through this. This is your blueprint to manhood. You got to seek a mentor. Thank you, sir. You got to seek a mentor. A mentor needs to be somebody you can reach out to. Everybody over 18 in the room, raise your hand. Okay? I want to challenge some of you in this room to be mentors to these young people. I'm sure most of you live out here on the East Coast. I mentor over 200 young men. You know why? Facebook, Twitter, email. There's no excuse. Sometimes sending an encouraging word goes a long way. So after you seek you a mentor, you got to surround yourself with like minds. Young men, you cannot be surrounding yourself with people who are not on the same path as you're on. You got to surround yourself with people who have the same goals, the same aspirations, people who want to go to college, people who want to be successful. Number 3, you got to bounce back from adversity. How many of you ever been through something? Okay, just keep on living if you haven't raised your hand, because you will go through something. But you have to learn how to bounce back from adversity. Real men learn from their mistakes. I had a buddy of mine, we used to go to school, and there was a dog named King. Why does always got to be a dog named King in the hood, right? He's always a big old German Shepherd. But anyway, we go into school, and we used to tease this dog, and the dog got after us and bit me in the foot. Bit my boy, too. That was a quick dog, wasn't it? Bit both of us. But I stopped going to school that route, but he went that route again and got bit again. He didn't learn from that mistake. How you going to go the same route and get bit twice? In the same ankle by the same dog. Is that crazy or what? Number 4, have the gift to say no. You're going to have to learn how to say no. I don't care how she looks. I don't care how much you think it's going to benefit you. You know it's not right, say no. Last but not least, you got to put in the work. Some of you talking about you got aspirations of doing this and doing that, but you're not putting in the work. Yeah, I was an athlete, but my son don't play ball, and I'm fine with that. You know why? He makes straight A's. Across the board, he get an A-, he upset. I'm cool with that. Because you know why? Because his education is going to take him a lot further than football ever took me. I played football for 22 years. But I'm going to spend most of my life using my brain. And football didn't teach me how to write books and how to educate myself. I told my college coach, you're going to use me to run up and down the football field, and I'm going to use you to get education. And that's how we got to start looking at that thing. School system. Education is the key. Students who study what? Succeed. Students who study what? Succeed. Students who study succeed. So what will you go pro in? Name them out real quick. What are you going pro in? Outside of sports. Law enforcement. What else? Neurosurgeon.
And SWAT. Engineering.
SWAT. Engineering. Yell it out.
Mechanics.
Entrepreneur.
Law enforcement. Doctor.
Teacher.
What about you?
Game design.
Huh? Game design. You're going to be making all the money. What else? What are you going pro in? You better think about it. What are you going pro in, son? Engineering. What about you?
Mechanics.
What about you?
Basketball.
In Texan? What about you?
SWAT.
SWAT. Got 2 SWATs in here. What about you, young man? Turn around. What are you going pro in? You? Yeah. What'd you say? Okay, doctor. Okay, I'm sorry, young man. In the book of life, the answers are not always in the back of the book. You have to learn how to bounce back from adversity. And the definition of being resilient, young man, is just bouncing back because you're going to be faced with some obstacles. How many of you want to look like this one day? Raise your hand. Hey, man, stop. How many of you want to look like that? Be honest. Some of y'all lying. Let me tell you something. See, some of you look at this. What's the first thing you think about?
Steroids.
See, that's hate. It's called player hate. It's called hate. That man ain't on no steroids. You know why he looks like that? Okay, you got that right. I was benching 300 pounds in high school. Before I graduated from college, 440 pounds. Ran 4.38 to 40. Went to the NFL Combine. I did 225, 32 times. I had the best time out of all the running